Welcome to the Super Farmer Brother Super Show. Today, we're going to review Mortal Kombat Deception. So with Deadly Alliance going into it, I thought it was really cool how Quan Chi and Shang Tsung combined and took down not only Liu Kang, but Shao Kahn. I was like, oh my god, so you want to come out with a bang, like you just kill the main bad guy, the main good guy, and really let you know just how powerful these sorcerers are. So then going into Deception, what's the first thing you see?
You see them.
They take down Raiden.
Yeah.
So they take down Shao Kahn, Liu Kang, and Raiden to further do it. And then Shang Tsung versus Quan Chi. And I guess Quan Chi gets the upper hand right there. And kills him. I heard, Quan Chi is Ed Boon's second favorite character. It's starting to kind of portray itself right there. And then Onaga comes in.
They have no chance against him.
Which is weird because that's the ending of the story that you're about to play. So the first thing you see in the Deception is the ending to the entire campaign you're about to do. You now, after you beat the whole game, you understand why Onaga's walking in there.
Yeah.
And when that happens, the two people who just died wake back up and then team up.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering, how the fuck Raiden just gets up after a moment? I mean, then he just kills himself right then and there.
It's almost like it's so cool you ignore it, but it's just like, what the hell just happened? Like, you start questioning yourself, like you get gaslighted. You're like, well, maybe I missed something. Maybe I'm so dumb I didn't notice that there was something why they didn't die. Maybe they just got knocked out really hard. They had a concussion.
What do you think that dragon did, that fire dragon that knocked Raiden on his ass? Do you think that gave him a concussion or killed him? Or
So, I don't know. It's just really weird. It's just like, I'm looking through the YouTube comments. Like, did anybody else notice that? Like, nobody's like, man, that was crazy. Man, Raiden sucks. What do they talk when he got his ass handed? It's like he's two guys.
Those are the comments you're reading?
Yeah, it's just nobody brings it up. I was like, did anybody notice that two dead guys just woke back up and started fighting? So Raiden dies, then comes back to life, then kills himself again, and then he's playable in the game. I'm like, hey, wait, so you can use Raiden, but you can't use Quan Chi or Shin. No, when Raiden dies, he just gets really evil. I'm like, all right. It's just like Pet Cemetery.
If you keep getting killed over and over and over, would you be pretty pissed off?
I don't know. Like, you get to use Dark Raiden, which is pretty much Pet Cemetery Raiden. Like, he died, but he came back all evil. So, yeah, it's very interesting. But anyway, that's going into the intro. So now we're going to talk about the actual Conquest story mode part of it.
Shujinko.
Yeah, and I hear that that's like Japanese for protagonist. I heard it on the internet, so it might be true. So anyway, so that's your protagonist you're using, Shujinko. And you go through the entire game, and you see him progress and get older and older. So it's like, oh, this is pretty cool. You're going to see
pretty interesting. I like that you get to play a character from childhood and all the way through pretty much his entire life.
Yeah, that was really interesting to see. And then he's learning all the fighting styles. So instead of like in some of the modern games where like you beat a guy up and then he kind of like loses some coolness because now he's like a jobber. Oh, he lost all these matches.
Yeah.
Now it's like, oh, you were just sparring with the people that you beat and they were wanting to teach you. Well, sometimes you do beat them up, but sometimes that would happen. So I thought that was really interesting, and you're learning all their fighting styles, and then it plays into why, Shujinko knows all these fighting styles and why he's so good.
Right.
And that was really interesting. And then, sorry for any spoilers for a game that came out, 16 years ago, but in the end, all the things that he was wanting to do, he didn't necessarily get. It's kind of depressing. Some of the stuff that happens to him, he misses out on the tournament.
It is funny that was important to you too.
Well, yeah, of course, it's pretty obvious.
It's like the Link way, he missed out on training with them and returning.
Well, yeah, he feels bad as like a spy. It's like you get so into like who you're spying on and working with. It's like, oh, I don't want to betray the Lin Kuei.
Yeah,
these are some nice assassins over here.
And then Damashi's like, no, this quest is so important.
Yeah,
like that doesn't matter. It's like, okay. And then the overlord of that city, that Melina, in the Tarkatan army. You remember?
Yeah. And he misses out on the tournament.
Yep. He's gonna fight Shang Tsung.
And he never gave Bo' Rai Cho back his amulet.
Yep.
And he never helped out Li Mei with her town. Her people. She's always big about her people.
And he missed out on high school prom. And
yeah, all that kind of stuff. You don't want to miss out on that. He had a really good date. He had the corsage burning out and everything. So here's a big question I have for you. So did you know at any point in this story who Damashi was?
No.
Did you know he was evil?
I had suspicions that something.
So they threw some bait out there, but then they moved away from it far enough to where it's kind of in the back of your head, which is really good storytelling. So you saw that, like, who summons me at this time? Like, oh hey, it's Shujinko. Hey, Shujinko. And then there was the harshness and coldness and the stuff even Shujinko was doubting. Why would you have somebody get killed to do this? Also, I wonder if this was a spoiler for you. The name of the game is called Deception. Did that in any point like, I think he might be getting deceived in the game Deception?
Doesn't he say that at the beginning when the whole thing we just...
Yeah, and he says he says he was tricked. The name of the game is Deception, and then the twist is he was deceived. So how surprising was the deception for you?
Not too much. I mean, there's something was going on, I know, but it's just like...
But you didn't know it was Onaga.
Yeah, I didn't put together the Onaga and Domashi.
Well, the reason you may not think it was Onaga is when you think of Onaga, this is a guy who's supposedly more powerful than Shao Kahn. When he's getting fought by two sorcerers and Raiden, he just keeps walking because you're not even hurting him. So the last thing you think this guy is going to be really good at is manipulating people and playing mind games. It's like, this is not a guy. You're thinking this is like some kind of brute warrior.
Exactly.
So it's kind of a clash in archetypes for characters. And when you have a character you're introducing at such a late point in the game who you haven't really had much of a backstory for and you're just throwing out, you don't have a lot of time to really develop and show, he's got this side or that side. Like, he doesn't seem like a guy who would be doing that. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It seems kind of weird, but I guess they had to fit it in for the story to work. But it just doesn't seem like Onaga would do it. Maybe when you're stuck being dead that long, you start to learn some other skills because you don't have a physical body.
I mean, I guess you have to, shit.
Yeah, and they did lead up to it. They talk about the Dragon King's army and Deadly Alliance, and they have an ending with Reptile where the body of the Dragon King goes into Reptile, and so that he's inside Reptile's body. And there's an ending in Deception where Onaga tries to get into the original body he was supposed to get into. I don't even know what that's supposed to be. He's supposed to look different.
I saw that in, yeah.
Because then in Armageddon they say that Reptile separated Onaga, but now at this point I feel like the Simpsons episode where I'm that nerd asking, the voice actors, in episode 46 you hit the same ribcage twice, producing two different notes. It's like they're like, just watch the story, don't think that much about it. But that's just something I thought.
I think he was a really cool character. He's actually really intimidating looking.
Well, here's another weird thing for me that's kind of a clash of characters. They say Shao Kahn poisoned Onaga, and that doesn't make sense to me because poison is always been seen as the woman's weapon. Sorry guys, I know we're not gonna throw genders under certain roles, but it's always been seen as something that a weaker person who doesn't have the strength to do would do. You would poison.
Like a passive aggressive way of killing somebody.
And it's weird. It's weird to think of. I don't want to call that passive. That's very aggressive. Did you just poison my family? Oh, I knew you were passive aggressive. That's very aggressive. You're killing people. So it just doesn't seem as something. Shao Kahn, the Warhammer guy, and then poison. All in all, I think the story, even though it has some pretty bad voice acting,
yes,
and some pretty bad dialogue,
Yes, God.
Well, thank you for checking out our school. I hope you join. See you later. Bye.
Everybody can introduce him. Name's Kano. I am Ermac. I'm Baraka, leader of the Tarkati.
Yeah, I know. It's like,
okay.
It's like one step above Pokemon. Baraka. They do that. I mean, but there's some cool stuff in there. I like how the intro, the kid is on the other kid's shoulders acting like Goro, and they're play acting and stuff. It's like, okay, so when he's young, it's before even the first Mortal Kombat, and then when he gets older, it's during Mortal Kombat and he misses out on going to it. Then later on, not much later on, it's already to Deadly Alliance era where Scorpion's chasing down Quan Chi. It's like, how did that happen?
Are you talking about the first Mortal Kombat as far as the game series?
The Mortal Kombat that took place in the game, which was like the 10th chance there. Yeah. Whatever. Okay, so that was the one he was supposed to get into. He was before that. And here's another thing about the aging. Why is Shujinko older than everybody else? Everybody else stayed the same age when he passed him. I'd be pissed off.
Well, there's that one time he got that liquid that aged him, so that makes part of the sense. But he aged like 4 times.
But how is he so much older than Bo Rai Cho? Bo Rai Cho trained him when he was a little boy.
That's true.
And then he sees Bo Rai Cho. He's like, God damn. Look, I may not be aging that well. I drink all the time. I drink the rice wine. But what did you do? Did you get on meth? You got on the opium? What happened? Like, and I didn't like some of the gimmicky ways he aged. Like, I didn't mind like, oh, he aged because he was training a long time and he learned a lot. But sometimes it'd be like, yeah, he like stepped in this thing and he aged like 8 years, or he went to jail and he aged 20.
That jail,
that was so bad.
I understand like why he would allow himself to be in there.
And then he gets mad when he's like, why would you kill these guards? I was like, you've been here for 20 years for not hearing when a bell rung and not going inside.
Yeah.
And then Hotaro's such an asshole. It's like, I was going to defend you for this. Like, that's like an abusive relationship. That's like some husband. It's like, and I try to be nice to you. I hit you a few times, sure. But I never hit you out of anger. I hit you out of getting respect out of you. It's like, he's like, oh, like Shijinko is supposed to be the main protagonist, but he's just such a pushover. And in a way, that's almost a good thing because it's like a lesson for what happens if you just like go along with everything and you just say yes to everything and you just don't push around. So we're trying to say that Mortal Kombat Deception has some very strong themes. Don't trust everybody. Don't let people push you around. So some other good stuff.
A lot to learn from this game.
So Hotaru, what do you think about that character?
I think he's pretty much a fucking asshole for putting him in jail for 20 fucking years.
So do you want Hotaru to never be in another Mortal Kombat game?
I'm not saying he's a bad character, but I think he deserves to have his ass fucking kicked.
So let's talk about that a little bit. The characters that made their introduction to Deception. So they added, I think, 6 new characters, and I think only like 3 of them even appear in the story mode.
Is Darius one of those characters?
Yeah.
He was like very short-lived in the game.
Yeah. Well, not just like he was in that game. And he was in Armageddon, and then you never heard from him again. And people hate him. They said he's like a Blade ripoff. I was like, everybody in that game is a ripoff. Johnny Cage is a ripoff of Jean-Claude Van Damme. I think we've been over this. Every character in the original Mortal Kombat was a ripoff of something. You got Jean-Claude Van Damme, you got Bruce Lee, you got Kano trying to look like Terminator with half the face off, you got Shang Tsung looking like Big Trouble Little China,
Yeah.
Raiden, Big Trouble Little China. So all that stuff. So I don't know what their problem is, but he didn't really make a great intro in here. He's barely in the story, and then I don't know. But other new characters that were in this game were we just talked about Hotaru, which I think looked pretty cool with the armor. I don't know if he fits in with the game. He looks like he should be in like Dynasty Warriors or something.
I keep confusing him with Fujin.
I confused him with like Raiden without his hat on, because Raiden without the hat, he's got the same hair. So they all look, and then now with Fire God Liu Kang, they all get like the white hair anime thing going on. So they all look kind of like each other. Yeah. Kind of like everybody thinks all those white people look the same. They're all looking the same in Mortal Kombat.
Cobra one of the ones?
Cobra? Was he even in the story? He was such a Kin ripoff that in one of the games they just called him Kin like in the early stages. So, Kira.
Is that the girl that's alongside of him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think you're thinking of Armageddon. They're actually in the story of Armageddon and the bridge.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, so they didn't even make it, so they had to be put in the next game. But yeah, they're not really. She's just like a Kano replaced with all Kano's moves, but she looks like really weirdly designed. It's Astra. It's another new character.
Yeah, the female Raiden, as you like to say.
Yeah, I mean, what'd you think about her?
I think she's a pretty interesting character. They didn't do enough with her. Well, I guess they did a fair amount for that game because they had a lot of characters in there, but I'd like to know a little bit more about her. She's an interesting character. So she's a demon, right? And she's wanting to like cleanse herself so she can exit that.
Yeah, to become
world.
human. Yeah.
Was she human before?
I have no idea. I mean, she said she looks just like all those little demons you see walking around, those Oni and stuff. So,
something about a magic sword. I know if you beat the game, her ending is like she finally like does her mission, but like she doesn't get to like transport with her sword or something.
Yeah,
like
so I think that's kind of cool. I think it'd be cool if they brought her back, because then you could have variations of her look to where she looks like the demon she was before and doesn't look like the demon. Hat, no hat. Should be the first female character with the first fighting game female character with a big giant hat. Mortal Kombat did it first.
Progressive.
Yeah, so I think it'd be interesting. And then Havoc.
Havoc, he's pretty neat.
Yeah, so Havoc is one of the most demanded characters, and they put him in the story. It wasn't a lot of it, but he was enough of it. And I think he made a good play in there. Anything against Hotaru was cool. And then the fact that when he's training him, he's like, oh my god, I thought you were trying to kill me. He's like, I was trying to teach you chaos. Oh, okay. I see. I thought you were trying to kill me. He's like, oh, I was going to try to kill you.
Yeah, I like that he said that. That was really cool.
Yeah, and then in his ending, one of the endings, he gets betrayed and killed. And then he smiles. He's like, yes, that's what you should be doing. You should be betraying. So he's pure chaos.
Yeah.
So Yeah, that's why he's such a great character, and everybody wants him back. Yeah. He was originally going to be like a Noob Saibot alternate. Oh yeah, there's one other character, Dairu.
Who?
Exactly. Okay, so he is the only reason he escapes Hotaru's jail. Dairu comes in, kills the guards.
Freeze him with a half-shaped head?
Yeah.
That mercenary dude?
Yeah. Now, you would think anybody who does anything against a Hotaru, you're going to like this character so much. But he's so terribly designed and so bland that you don't even remember. He's like the most like non-memorable character. One of the most I just remembered him right now.
Dude, that fucking haircut. I can't get
Yeah, it's so bad. I mean, I know there's a lot of those haircuts. Sub-Zero's alternate. He's like bald with a thing. With his mane is the shredder looking thing, and if you take it off. Yeah. But yeah, it's just like he comes in, I'll do it for money, and he kills him and he takes off.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot. They put some of the characters in the story, but they don't really make a big thing. So characters, they didn't really do much with them. Hotaru got the most screen time, and he was just really annoying.
Right.
It's interesting, but would you say he wasted his life? Would you say it's completely sad, or it's sad, but it's not completely? There's some good parts to what happened to him also, because he learned all these fighting styles, traveled the realms around the world.
Yeah, who knows? If he didn't embark on that, he may have never even got the adventure or anything like that.
You know, I saw...
He may have knocked some girl up and, like, ruined his
life.
You
keep bringing prom back up. So, I think it was best said with this really sad YouTube comment I saw, which it's not hard to find, but one of the comments was like, everybody's on here talking about how Shujinko wasted his life, but he learned all this fighting styles and traveled the world. I've been living in this same town my whole life, working the same job. I was like, good God. So this is a Mortal Kombat.
I love that voice you put to it. The little redneck dude accent.
This is a Mortal Kombat video, man. Calm down. So it's just like that. Every time you watch like a YouTube video, it's like, man, this is the one thing keeping me going, man. My life's so... It's like, God, good God, man. This guy's just playing some Tetris.
Well, I mean, he's got a point, though. I mean, he did get to fucking travel... All these great warriors, all the fucking realms, all these different realms.
Yeah, here's the thing about the realms. So you got a realm called the Chaos Realm. So it's just chaos. So is Havoc really that weird, or is he just the best of the chaos stuff? Because if it's all chaos.
Yeah, because I remember as soon as you go in there, this I think not Shujinko, what's his name, Damashi tells him that like it's pure chaos. There are people there that defy order. Like, how does anything get fucking done?
Yeah, so it's kind of like really one-dimensional, and then you got like the Order Realm. I was like, oh yeah, okay. So then Sato, the Order Realm, Hotaru's realm, and then like, so all they do is order. And so
he was so strict and put him in jail for 20 years?
Yeah, from the Order Realm. So if I come in there, it's like Steven from Earth Realm. I'm very earthy. I'm all about Earth Day. I celebrate it. I recycle. I plant trees. This is all biodegradable. I'm very... What is in Outworld? Is it Outworld Realm? I'm very Outworld Realm. We're out there, man. We don't have plumbing. We're in Outworld. We've been introduced to guns several times. We're still not really using them. We're still into the magic. So, and then Edenia. What is that realm? So some realms, they're just a realm and you don't really know much about them, and they're very like, and then other realms are like dimensional, Yeah. It's just like, this is Angry Realm. We're angry.
About what? Doesn't fucking matter.
I don't know. That was kind of corny.
Yeah.
I thought.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Like Havoc's a lot cooler if he's just that one guy, not if there's a whole realm of chaos.
Yeah.
I understand NetherRealm being hell because there's hell. I guess that's all evil, but that can kind of mix it. But the rest of it. It's kind of weird, but I do like the ending, how it goes straight into the intro. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I wish Shujinko would have at least tried to fight Onaga, even if he wouldn't have had a chance. He just immediately starts running.
I can't help but think about Shujinko. I'll be like, well, hold on, wait. I did all of this for you. Can I like work for you? Can I, like?
Yeah, Onaga's immediately like, he's just like a Bond villain. This is why I did all this. Now you die. I'm like, all right, goddamn.
Like, would you not? I don't know. I think I would have said, like, dude, let me just work for you. I've dedicated my whole fucking life to you at this point. Like, it doesn't fucking matter what your goal is.
Yeah, did you find Shujinko too gullible? Could you see that he was falling for stuff?
Well, he started to question towards the end.
Yeah, but did you see ahead of time? Did you ever feel like you were smarter than the character when you were watching it?
Well, yeah, I was questioning things before he did, but then at the same time, it's like I see his point, like his reason for not questioning. This is like an elder god.
Yeah, I think it would have made it a little bit stronger if they showed that in the beginning he was very like ambitious or passionate, and he was like willing to do whatever, and that would have shown a stronger reason for why he was going through this, rather than just like, oh, it seems more like Onaga chose him because he was the nicest, pushover, most gullible, rather than he was the most obsessed with being the best. And I think that would have made the character a little bit stronger.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah. So I think that would have helped a little bit. It was also kind of odd that Scorpion came in. He was like, "I'm the chosen one." You are? Yeah. Well, I want to beat the shit out of you. So he just beats up Scorpion. I was like, where did that come from?
Wait, what about when he was in a Nexus with all the Dagus or whatever, and that one dude was in
Monster.
Yeah, Monster.
I thought that was really cool. I thought that was cool that there was another chosen guy by the Elder Gods that was supposed to do it, and he didn't look like a human. Like he could have been from some other realm.
There, and like spikes.
Yeah, I like that. Like, okay, so why of all these realms is it always like some human-looking dude? I thought it was cool that the chosen one was some other race, because you've seen how many races you've just seen just go into Outworld. It should be some other guy, and it's chosen, and then Shujinko was able to beat him. So I don't know how good of a chosen one that guy was. Maybe he was just better all around in some others, but whatever.
But was he a chosen one?
Yeah, he was the chosen one. So that's kind of weird.
And they didn't do much with him in the story. That was crazy.
I know. Well, some people, there's a small amount of people that want something to happen with that character.
Good.
Yeah, so I thought
I want to join that team.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of cool and kind of tragic that the right guy was taken down. These Elder Gods are not really keeping up with them. You think they would be involved if this guy's coming in the next, the Elder Gods, like, what are they doing? Pay attention, man. So here's a big tell-all if you liked Shujinko or not. Would you want Shujinko to come back in another game, and would you play him?
You know, I'd like the Deception to be done again. I'd like a better execution of Deception, and that would help me.
It was very revolutionary at the time. Like, no other fighting game had done anything like that. I mean, most fighting games were just kind of lore-based. Like, here, you find out a little bit thing from an ending and then an instruction book, and that's about it. At no point did I roll my eyes and get as annoyed as I have in Mortal Kombat X or Mortal Kombat 11.
With Deception?
With Deception.
No, like all the stuff we were talking about, like you know, the dialogue, this and that. It's like, that was stupid.
And Mortal Kombat X and 11 are way better with the execution.
Oh, yes,
looks much better. It sounds much better. Voice, even Ronda Rousey's voice acting isn't as bad as some of this stuff. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe some of it. But anyway. But, yeah, the overall story I thought was much more interesting. Yes. And even though we're asking questions about it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not... It's still like... I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's just like it makes you question things. So I thought that was really good for a video game in Mortal Kombat. That's why Mortal Kombat's always been known as the best story-based game, even though it gets really ridiculous.
Yeah. No. They did a great job, I think. Like you said, there's a lot of shit they could fix, but like it's so much better story-wise than X and 11.
Yeah.
It's like miles better.
And the only thing we've seen in Shujinko since that is Cassie Cage's ending in Mortal Kombat X, where she steps through this thing and she thought she killed Shang Tsung, but she killed Shujinko.
Oh, wow.
So they kind of made him a joke right there. They did that a lot in Mortal Kombat with characters they're embarrassed of. They just have a character walk in with an intro and throw their head. Quan Chi with Moloch's head. You know, Aaron Black with Su Hao's head. Shiva with Motaro's head.
Are they ashamed of Motaro?
I don't know. They haven't done anything with him. Mortal Kombat Armageddon, they made him a Saturn or whatever, and then Mortal Kombat or Minotaur, and then Mortal Kombat 9, he's just kind of background. He's like a featured extra.
Yeah.
Make a little cameo, so I don't know.
Okay, so I got a question about this. I don't know if you notice this, but in like the first 10 minutes of the game, you see what I think is Ermac in the game. But
I never saw that.
I don't know, it could be like a member of the Lin Kuei in the red and black, but...
Yeah, because Lin Kuei, they don't make any sense of what color they are. I don't know, because I know Sector's dad was running. It's like my dad runs a dealership. My dad runs a clan of assassins. But they're all red. It doesn't make any sense. And then like Smoke's gray, Sub-Zero's blue, Cyrax is yellow, Sector's red, and then they're all red. Like, I don't know what's going on. And there's a lot of cool cameos in the game. Like, there's so many cameos. You can run across Motaro and Rain, and all these characters just looking at it. It's like, oh, so it was fun. So the game, not only was the story interesting, but the gameplay was interesting. Not only because you would go into the fighting and you would learn everybody's fighting style, so you could see what character you would like to use most. Because you might be like, oh, I like this character because he looks like this. But in this game, you're gonna try all of them, and you're gonna try them all out on Shujinko, so you won't even worry about whose character. Then you'll go like, oh, what character played like this? It was like, oh, maybe I will use that character after all. Not that Mortal Kombat Deception is known for its great gameplay or anything, but that's interesting. So it had like an RPG element. You're running around doing a story. What would you be your rating out of a 10 for the story of Mortal Kombat?
Well, story-wise, I'd probably go with like, let me go with 7. I say 7.
Yeah, 7.
You have a 7 too?
Yeah, because I feel like an 8's just too high.
Yeah. I almost said 8.
Yeah, I want to say 8. Okay, if I can say 7.5, I'll do that. If I give it an 8, it's too much, and a 6 is way too low.
Yeah.
It feels like if I had to give it an 8 or a 6, it would be closer to 8, so that's why I say 7.5. Yeah. But it was really good. Technical stuff could have been better. Some of the story stuff was... The timeline was all over the place. The voice acting could have been better. Not enough of the new characters were introduced in there. Some of the characters were in there too much. There was some dumb stuff where he just aged by like, oh, I'm stepping in a pool. Oh, Nightwolf's going to teach me a lot of stuff, and then I don't learn it at all. Yeah. Or, hey, go... I'm Kinchi, I need you to find Shang Tsung. Oh, I've scoured the whole world for him. Oh yeah, by the way, he's only like 5 minutes over that way. Yeah. And then you're like looking for him. I've looked all over for him, and you're in Earthrealm. So where are you? Like, look in the southwest. I'm gonna look in the northeast. Like, so I go to Argentina, and you go to Scandinavia. Where are we going? Like, like Earthrealm's a real place. It's not just some, weird tropical place where they're over there. And then Nightwolf's right over there. So I understand they had to work within their limitations, but you can't not think about some of the stuff. Yeah. And they do make Shujinko a little bit too gullible at times. You never want to feel like you're smarter than the protagonist unless you're watching a comedy movie. Yeah. And Onaga kind of like comes in at the end. You don't get to know much about him. That doesn't seem like the Onaga really, because Damashi, and then he's out. So the bad guy didn't really get to deliver like he needed to. And the intro was cool, but it didn't make any sense. So I don't know, and they're always talking about the Dragon King army, but it seems like it's more about the Dragon King than the army. What did the army do? What are we doing with them? So there's lots of great ideas, and some are executed well, and some aren't. I don't know. Yeah. So that's why I had to give it a 7, because it's just as good as I think it is. It's just there's a lot of like wonkiness to it, so it feels like it's a lot of like raw talent that needs to be.
Right. Yeah, you can see a lot of potential with all the stuff they got going on.
Which, like you said, if they remade it, they could cut out a lot of the dumb stuff and fix a lot of the stuff, Yeah. So.
And then when they did right, they did even better.
Yeah. So that's Mortal Kombat Deception rated. Very good. I enjoyed the story. I watched it twice. I would watch it a thrice time. Yeah. But next time we're gonna be going into Armageddon, and we're gonna see if that game compares or excels past what Deception set for the standard in Mortal Kombat storytelling in the years of the 2000s. We've been the Farmer Brothers of the Super Farmer Brothers. And we'll be talking to you next time.
Peace.